Industrial Partnership Initiative with Egypt, UAE, and Jordan. Meanwhile, President Sisi and Bahraini King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa witnessed in June the signing of several agreements of memorandums of understandings between Egypt and Bahrain in Manama in various domains, including science, technology, education, and logistics. Also in June, Egypt, Bahrain, and Jordan agreed in a summit held in Sharm el-Sheikh on the importance of strengthening ties between the three nations to the highest levels, especially amid international and regional challenges.
Well, for more details on Egypt's strategic ties with the Arab participating countries in the five-way summit talks, we are joined over the phone with Mr. Amr Abdurrahman, political analyst. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you, and hello to the dear viewers.
Thank you, sir. Well, Mr. Abdurrahman, how do you weigh Egypt's foreign affairs strategy in enhancing its strategic relations with the Arab countries?
Well, I believe that we have a strong ties with our friends and brothers in Gulf countries. Especially, of course, we have this strong alliance with Emirates and Jordan and Bahrain, and of course Iraq and Saudi Arabia. I believe that this new summit being held here in Alamein in Egypt is a fulfilling and an extend to the last summit we have took part in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. I believe now we have very critical issues to discuss together, and too many files of our own national and international Arabic security to discuss and to agree upon, and to reach final points and directions to go together hand in hand.
Yes, Mr. Abdurrahman, how would the Arab Summit be a good opportunity to increase trade among the five countries?
Of course, commerce and trade are basics, solid bases we have agreed upon for the past few years. We have greater mega projects like electricity projects and an electricity net between Egypt and Jordan and Egypt, Iraq and Egypt and Jordan. This is a very important project. We had some critical situation, and we are facing foreign influence, like the Iranian threat to Iraq, trying to stop this project from being held. Of course, we support our brothers and neighbors in Iraq. We have a common interest, we have a common future, as well as we had our common past and history. We stand by our brothers in Iraq, and we appreciate their very important Arabic situations together, not only with Egypt, but with all the Arabs in Gulf and the whole Arabic countries.
Yes, Mr. Abdurrahman, Egypt, Iraq, and Jordan have intensified their trilateral collaboration over the past few years in order to enhance strategic relations between the three countries. How do you view this?
Well, of course, this is just a part of our new Egyptian strategy, Arabic strategy. We are seeking to reach those final image of the real Arabic front. We need to stand side by side as one Arabic front against too many threats from outside. We are facing the threats of what would I call it, the Ashkenaz threats. whether Turkey or Iran, or there's unit existence, which the three powers are one race in the roots, which is Ashkenaz. We have faced that threat, and we are continuing to face those threats and other threats, of course. We should stand side by side, and we even reaching the borders of agreements around our own national security, militarily and strategically, as I have mentioned, side by side we can stick together and walk the line as one front.
Yes, Mr. Abdurrahman, how would the meeting of the five-way summit deal with the repercussions of the global economic crisis and means of facing them?
Well, of course, this is also a very important topic on the table, and I believe that we have too many potentials to stand side by side together, and we are facing the consequence of the crisis between Russia and Ukraine. We have the whole potentials we need together, not only to control the damage and contain it, but also to beat it and to stand against it. We have too many sources, power sources, in industrial sources. We have commerce, great commerce net between the Arab countries. We can stand side by side here, and we can take this critical decision of letting the dollar current aside and use other options, use other currencies like the ruble, the Russian ruble, or the yuan of China, or other currencies, of course.
Yes, Mr. Abdurrahman, earlier yesterday, Sunday, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with the United Arab Emirates President and they discussed several issues. Could you give us your insight concerning the investment, the Emirati investment and cooperation concerning trade in Egypt?
We have one of our strongest ties with our friends and brothers in Emirates. And of course, Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has established a new era of these relations with Emirates. And of course, we have too much to discuss and too many important decisions to take together side by side to protect the unity of Iraq. We need to have this point very importantly in sight. We need to keep Iraq state as one whole state, united. We stand by Iraq in this effort. We support its effort to be a very strong player on the Arabic arena and standing towards and facing the threats of Iran, of course. And of course, the Israeli influence through some of the Kurdish militias to the north of Iraq. Together, side by side, Egypt and Emirates, we can accomplish too many steps along this hard path.
Yes, Mr. Abdurrahman, concerning Egypt and United Arab Emirates, how does both countries have the same stance concerning several issues and crises in the Arab world, like Libya, Palestine, like Syria? How do you view this stance the two countries have?
As well as we share the same view and point of view and the same way of looking at the crisis in Iraq, we share the same unity of situations toward other issues, like, of course, the unity of Palestine, the Arabic state, against the Zionist existence occupation. And of course, we support a united Libya state against other threats from Turkey and from the NATO and other powers that are trying to use the papers or the cards of the terroristic groups like Muslim, non-Muslim Brotherhood or other groups, terroristic groups in there, trying to step back and to set Libya back in its path that already we have helped Libya and the Libyan leadership, especially with General Haftar. We have helped him and our friends in Libya to step up with a new Libya state united against any other threats.
Yes, Mr. Abdurrahman, what do we expect after this five-way, or would be the outcome of the meeting and summit of the five-way summit between Egypt and the other four countries?
Well, those summits are very important to represent to the whole world that we Arabs are standing as one front against too many crises, too many challenges. We have a very important economic challenge to preserve our own fruits we have gained in the last decade, in the last 10 years, or the last 7 years, as Arabs, as we have overcome too many differences. It was between us together, and now we are fulfilled the gaps, and we are using this power, this united power, to challenge all the threats as hand by hand.
Yes, Mr. Abdurrahman, Amr Abdurrahman, political analyst, thank you very much for joining us over the phone. I really had the pleasure to have this phono with you. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break and I'm going to be back with you.
Egypt opens up to the world. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi meets with world leaders.